Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. Let me just brighten myself up here. It's a bit dark, isn't it? It's an awful day in terms of weather again. We need to start getting a little bit better here, England, please, especially in the north. But as I always say, everyone, I hope you're all doing fantastically well. Today we're going to be getting into rumours, but also we're going to be getting into almost the analytical side of what I've seen and what a few people have seen online when it comes to the Real Sociedad game. And I think it's key to have a look at what Leeds were exactly deploying when it came to tactics and where maybe Jesse has eventually been a little bit more pragmatic. As we say, when we talk about pragmatism, it's not all about subs in the 83rd minute and subs in the 74th minute. It's about actually adjusting your tactics before the game and in game to suit the opposition and get the best out of this Leeds United 11. Obviously, Jesse's had a discussion with Tim Howard in an interview, which I've only really seen in the last couple of days, so I'm going to discuss that a little bit, and we're going to get into the rumours that are flying around today, two of which that are quite interesting. So guys, before we get going, make sure you're liking the video, make sure you're getting your comments in the section below, and also make sure you are subscribed to the One Leeds Fan Channel. And I'm going to try to learn on this one, and instead of just waffling on, I'm going to try to take little breaks with coffee, because I come off this stream plenty of times and it feels like I've swallowed Gandhi's flip-flop. Adam Webster says, good morning from Wigan. Smash the like, top man. Adam, hope you're all right. Morning. Romsh, hope you're okay, mate. Clive's in the building. Hello, Katrina. Josh, hello. Morning, Connor. Morning, Nige. I didn't expect a lot of people in today, to be fair. I understand it's a Sunday, but I thought Sunday morning, sometimes people want a bit of YouTube content. This is normally the day where we're reflecting and watching highlights when it comes to Leeds United, but we're not playing. We didn't play yesterday. It's back to Championship football as well, which is exciting stuff. Any football is good stuff. So let me know in the comment section below who you want to win today, Argentina or France. I'm going to go with Argentina just because Lionel Messi is the greatest footballer ever. And that's an objective comment. No subjectivity there, everyone. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below who you want to win. And listen, let's get into it. Let's get into exactly what I wanted to discuss today. And then we'll obviously get into the rumours naturally. So, Jesse did an interview with Tim Howard, and I was watching it the other day, and it's really hard not to think to yourself, stop talking. Because it's difficult to get away from the fact that Leeds are in a little bit of a perilous position at the minute. We've got 3 games coming up, which are very, very difficult. I saw the other day that someone said if Marsch doesn't get 4 points out of these next 3 games, then he should be sacked. I mean, that is a huge total out of these next 3 games if you take them into context. Obviously, we've won at West Ham previously, so that's a little bit of encouragement. But he was speaking to Tim Howard earlier on, and he was talking about pragmatism and people thinking he's crazy, and essentially wants Leeds to be more tactically fluid. And I think a lot of the takeaway from this Tim Howard interview, I'll put it in the comment section below, actually, everyone, the description below, and you guys can go and have a watch of it. I think I'm just getting the vibe with Jesse at the minute that with everything that's going on at Leeds, our sort of position where we're 2 points off the bottom, we've got, off the bottom 3, we've got really tough games coming up. Less talk, more action. And I think that's where I'm sticking with Jesse. It needs to be that I'm all about him going on podcasts, I'm all about him doing interviews, but there's a lot of talk at the minute, and it's almost coming from a place of tactical hierarchy where Jesse's able to look at a situation and be able to unpick that and be able to sort a situation out, and that's not really reflective of where Leeds are at the minute. It's not really reflective of the current situation. So I just think right now it's all about just keeping it zip. And if you don't want to keep it zip, that's absolutely fine, but at least let's see a couple of these things on the pitch, because there's a constant rhetoric at the minute of players not applying his principles. Now, if players aren't applying his principles, why is that? You've got to be a little bit reflective on yourself as well. It can't just be about, the players not applying my principles, because Jesse, you've been here for a year now, over a year. So I want to see this, and I'm going to get into why I'm discussing this in a little bit, but it comes from a very maverick point of view when Jesse's talking on this interview with Tim Howard. It's about, how people think he's crazy and how maybe he shouldn't be in a position where Leeds need to attack to defend. Well, if we do have the players that we do have available to us to defend, which aren't of the greatest standard, we are probably going to have to attack to defend. And that's all about becoming a little bit more defensively resolute, bringing in good defensive players, and then you can switch it around a little bit. You know, players in the Premier League, teams in the Premier League have done that. They've become more defensively stable, and then they've worried about the staffing, they've worried about managerial changes later on, you know? So they've become more defensively solid. That's what you have to be like that in the Premier League. You have to be able to have a solid rear guard. Let me just get into a few of your comments as well. John says, "Get results that first, then do the talk." And I think I'm a little bit more like that, mate. I'm all right, Mark. Thank you. Sam says, "Jesse seems a little bit naive to me. Our perilous position is not hitting home." I think that's it as well, Matt. I think at the minute, mate, I completely agree. I think, because we've been in this World Cup bubble, because we scored 3 goals against Tottenham, even though we lost the game and took the lead 3 times, there is a notion at the minute that we're all sort of unaware of what's going on at the minute. Leeds are in a huge relegation battle right now already. Hence why I'm really banging on the drum, as I was last season, about Leeds bringing in bodies now. You guys might think I'm a little bit cynical when it comes to us actually going and doing that, but there's a reason behind that, because there's proof in the pudding. The evidence suggests that Leeds, when there are problems in problem areas, don't go out and rectify that. I'm hoping, touch wood, that this is going to be a different January window. But positively, I do want to say that I did notice a little bit of a change against Real Sociedad. Let me just put this into context when it comes to Real Sociedad as well. This is a Real Sociedad who are very tactically aware. They're technically brilliant. They're third in La Liga, and they are littered with talent. In that midfield area as well, they've got one David Silva who is still able to apply his trade at the top level. So that's definitely context that we need to apply to this. But for me, there was a little bit of a change. And the reason I mentioned Tim Howard's interview was because he's talking about being pragmatic. He's talking about different tactical structures. He's talking about this, that, and the other. And I'll be honest, really straight down the line, it's all waffle, because you have to back it up. There has to be, as Leeds fans, we need to see evidence that this is working, and these tactical plans that you keep talking about and principles are working, and we're seeing less vulnerability when it comes to opposition coming forward, and we are seeing more potency in attack. These have to be applied to every in-game scenario for fans to be able to believe in what Jesse's doing fully. Because I still don't believe every single fan is... I mean, how can you be at the minute? How can you be, Jesse was a succession plan to Marcelo Bielsa. The chairman is talking about finishing from 10th to 14th. We are currently underperforming in that KPI, okay? So you have got to always judge Jesse on that. But I still think, overall, what we saw the other day was a 4-3-3 implementation. So when Leeds would press, we'd go as a 4-4-2, which has been, I think that's been a little bit different. Hold on, guys. I'm just a little bit worried that I think my laptop's going to run out, which is perfect when you're on stream. Hold on a sec. I'll get back to my waffle, my Jesse waffle. We're back, don't worry. But yeah, I think when it comes to Leeds' vulnerability, it's there. But I think what he showed the other night was that Leeds can do something a little bit differently. Now, I don't know if that was because Tyler Adams wasn't there, so he wanted a little bit more stability in the midfield. But Leeds would press with a 4-4-2, which has been a little bit interrupted, I feel, the press. I don't think it's been as good in the past 3 to 4 weeks of Leeds playing. But it was obvious we're pressing the 4-4-2. But we were defending, and in possession, we're playing within a 4-3-3. Now, I found that very interesting. I found a little bit of a tactical flexibility there, and I'm just going to show you it in the goal here, everyone. So I'll show you the formation to start off with. As you can see, it's in front of my face. There was an evident 4-3-3 there. You got Forsh in the middle, you got Rocky, you got Click, and then up top, it looked like Aronson on the right, Rodrigo, I don't know why Harrison was in there, by the way. Harrison didn't start, did he? Am I going mad? But anyway, yeah, there was a 3 up top. So when Rodrigo scored, this was the setup. So as you can see, Leeds in possession. You've got Gnonto, you've got, that's Rodrigo on the far side, isn't it? And you've got Aronson just in that central position. Or it might be Gelhardt. It's Gelhardt, isn't it? Gelhardt in that central position. So that 4-3-3 as you can tell, really affects the opposition. You know, it's a little bit of panic stations there. They're all versing back, and Leeds have got two quick players, or we would have two quick players on either side, and you've almost got a number 10 who can drop back a little bit, which would facilitate Joe Gelhardt, which would facilitate Rodrigo, and which would facilitate Patrick Bamford, maybe to a lesser extent, because he doesn't drop back as much as Joe Gelhardt and Rodrigo. Let's have a look. Sam just said it's all well and good talking points off the team, but we need to be beating the teams in and around us. I'd agree. Jose says, I'm an American. I love Tyler. He's amazing, but he may be holding your back a little bit. Matt says, ideally 4 players in and a centre-back who leads and has pace, another CDM, a left-back and a striker. I think we only get a forward and probably keep Click. Nick says, I sadly believe that we're not going to bring anyone in Jan. I think we're skin and outgoings will not bring much. Spot on Connor says, Nige, less talk, more action. Our management team needs to keep quiet and go and address our player shortcomings in January. 0 signings, bottom 3. Can't disagree with that, mate. Can't disagree with that. But I think we did see the other day that there is a little bit of tactical flexibility from Jesse Marsch. As I said, the 4-3-3 enables us to have an extra body when we're defending. And as I say, the 4-3-3 going forward is very effective. We all know that's a very attacking formation. And I think we did see that against Real Sociedad. It also enables us to have a little bit of more of a threat for me in a counter-attack, because you've always essentially got 3 players who are ready to go. 3 players, it's almost like a 100-metre relay race. You've got 3 players who are ready to go on the counter-attack, and you saw the other day with Gnonto that was extremely effective. Now, the midfield 3 here, everyone, is something that I wanted to talk about. If we are going on a 4-3, I mean, listen, there's a lot of Americans in the chat. Yunus Musa would be my pick if you're looking at 2 defensive midfielders and maybe a number 8 going forward who's able to really drive Leeds forward, carrying the ball, maybe being very, very creative as well. You've also got that link with Tyler Adams, with Yunus Musa, the American midfielder, only 19 at Valencia. I think that would be a great move for Leeds. But I think that 4-3-3 allows you to be a little bit more flexible. You would keep Rocker, you would keep Tyler Adams in that sort of like defensive bit, because I don't think they're going to be able to be as effective going forward. But I would drop Brendan Aronson into that midfield 8. That's what I would do. We've seen Stuart Dallas doing that, haven't we, in the number 8 under Marcelo Bielsa, where he was very effective. Obviously, there's the midfield 2. Dallas would push forward a little bit, and the other midfielder, maybe Click or whoever it was, would drop back. And Dallas actually would get goals from that position. You know, entering the box late and being able to finish it off. But I think if you're playing a 4-3-3, you need 2 defensive players in there, really, especially in the Premier League with the calibre of side we have and the poor defence we have. You need 2 players protecting that back 4, and then you need a creative number 8. And I'm talking a Pablo Hernandez-esque player who we never replaced. We never replaced him. And I think if you bring in so I've just seen someone put Tyler Adams. I know they said if you bring in a Tyler Adams, but if you bring in a creative number 8 to really replace Pablo Hernandez eventually, I think that would help Leeds. But right now, to put a little bit of a plaster over that, you know, that wound, I think if Leeds are to play a 4-3-3, bring in Brendan Aronson in, who is a little bit of a ball carrier, isn't that great in possession, but can play that role a little bit and can be effective in that 4-4-2 press. I think it's going to be really effective for Leeds. Munchy Toy says, Connor, what's going on? So many people have spelt your name correctly in the comments. Mate, it's the Irish way. C-O-N-O-R. The Irish way. You know what I mean? We don't do the English way here. That's not me saying I don't like the English or anything like that. I am English. But yeah, it just makes me feel a little bit special. C-O-N-O-R is just much less common than C-O-N-N-O-R. Griezmann would be a Hernandez replacement. Yep, World Cup final. Do you reckon he'd enjoy battling relegation with Leeds United? Who knows? What do you think of reports that Meslier is going? I think it would be catastrophic if he left. It would be Christopher, but that is going to happen. That is naturally going to happen. Unfortunately, he's 21, 22 years of age. He's going to leave Leeds. There's a lot of talk about him being the succession plan to Hugo Lloris. That would make sense as well. But then it's all about Leeds being able to... We need to get to a stage where we're not just a selling club. And I think that's going to take a number of years, as you've seen with Leicester. No way Musa goes to Leeds, probably a Big Six club. Yeah, I am dreaming. Look, I am dreaming. I understand I'm dreaming, but let me dream. Let me dream. A player very, very similar very, very similar to Musa. I think in that midfield three, having the same attributes would be very good for Leeds. But yeah, so I thought the 4-3-3 was a good tactical imprint from Jesse Marsch. It was being pragmatic, and then you can see a forward line in the long term. If you're dropping Brendan Aronson into a midfield three, you can see a forward line of Sinisterra, Rodrigo, and then you've got maybe Somerville, or Jack Harrison. Now that is frightening to any defence really, and obviously we've got that stability at the back, which I think is really really effective. It also enables Leeds to cover out wide a little bit more, and help Rasmus and help Pascal a little bit more, and naturally it's going to help positional play a little bit more effectively in the Premier League, which we've struggled on under Jesse Marsch. But yeah, I think tactically we're still diabolical at build-up. We all know that. Leeds at the back, and I'm sure you guys will agree with this, that building up from the back for Leeds United is just an absolute terror because we get the ball and we don't have players who are naturally great on the ball. So if you get any team who are going to press, a la Manchester City, who are going to do that, probably Newcastle, who are going to do something similar with maybe deploying Almiron to press from the front, that is going to unnerve the Leeds players who aren't great on the ball. So instead of us building down the right consistently, which Leeds seemingly are doing, I don't really know why we do that. I don't know if Jesse's saying to the side, go out there and build up through Rasmus, but why don't we build up through the left? If we're not going to go direct and we're not going to hit the front man and we're not going to play off that front that sort of front man's second ball, with Aronson and Adams almost just in and around Rodrigo to pick up those loose balls. If we're not going to do that, why don't we play and build up through Pascal Struijk? Because that left side is much more effective for me than our right side. So if we're able to do that, then you might see a little bit of a change. I think at the minute, I thought Tottenham did this quite well in the second half. You're getting teams trying to funnel the ball to Rasmus because that is where play breaks down. Rasmus isn't great on the ball. He might be strong, he might be passionate, but he's not great on the ball, especially through build-up. So you almost need Rasmus to give the ball to a midfielder who will get the ball and move the ball forward. Not just pass it laterally, but get the ball and move it forward to almost supplement Rasmus's deficiencies on the ball, because we need to progress up the pitch. I think there's a lot of ways that Leeds can actually improve. I think the 4-3-3 is going to improve Leeds United 100%. Defensively, it's going to be better. I think we're going to be a little bit more potent in attack, as I've said. Overall, though, I think if we start to funnel the build up down the left, if we start building up down the left, if you get the winger coming back a little bit to aid the fullback, these are tactical prints which are going to help Leeds defensively, and they're going to help Leeds with build up play for me. There is a way out of this. There is a way out of this, and obviously, naturally, Leeds in the window have to bring in players to be able to aid this process. Because I think if we go through this Premier League season and we have the same current crop, Leeds are going to really struggle. And you know what I mean when I say that. I'm not going to say the words out loud. But we had a discussion about this on Generation Leeds, which is on the Patreon. You guys can access that in the description below. Me and my dad yesterday, and he seems to think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be in big trouble if we don't add anybody. And especially I'm seeing a lot of people saying, "Let's let go, click." Well, that's all well and good, and I understand it's getting rid of the dead. I was going to say that's a bit disrespectful. That I was going to say deadwood, but it's not the deadwood. Especially his fantastic goal the other day. But players who've been at Leeds for a while now, moving that on, and actually getting a value from his contract's up in the summer. If we can get value for him now, is the value now worth more than keeping Click for another 6 months? Because what you've also got to consider is, whilst a lot of people might not think he's good enough, including myself, if we don't bring another central midfielder in or a number 8 in, which is what I'm alluding to, if we don't bring an 8 in, what's the point? What is the point in letting him go? There isn't any, Mark Ely says, morning Connor from Toronto, match on together at 5 a.m. Morning, mate. It is 10:17 here. Sam says, find it cringe when Rasmus puts in a standing tackle and gives it the big end. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. I know what you mean. I think it's the position we're in at the minute as well. I think if we'd have got a few more points, I think if we'd have got 3 out of 4 wins, I think everyone would be thinking very differently. But Leeds are we're in a we're in a bit of a, well, we're in a perilous position right now, so things do need to change. That's why it was good the other night seeing a little bit of a tactical change for me. So yeah, just on rumours, everyone, we've heard a few ones today. Leeds Live are reporting that Cody Drama could be, well, I mean, there's a lot of insinuation at the minute that Cody Drama will be moving on. Obviously, there's been rumours of Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Ivan Fresneda as well, which we'll discuss on in the room mill as well. But yeah, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is an interesting one. Once again, Wolves are looking at investing in him. They want 6 signings. Lopetegui, that's another thing to take into consideration. Teams in and around us, Everton, Wolves, Brentford, whatever, the outside of the promotion 3 are all going to be strengthening. That's something we need to mitigate against as well. It's not just Leeds strengthening. We have to watch out for other teams strengthening as well, because that's going to be worth an extra 1 or 2 points, isn't it? So, yeah, Leeds obviously need to go out there and do a little bit of business. We know that. 433 says Ali Al Smith, where do you put Aronson? I don't like him playing on the wings. Yeah, I'd agree, mate. So I think that's what I'm saying. If he's to play a 4-3-3, Rocker and Adams aren't going to play a bit further up, even though I don't think Adams, after seeing him, I didn't think he was at the start, but I don't think he's a bad ball carrier. However, if those two are going to almost remain in that sort of defensive pivot with a little bit more license to move forward, which I would give Adams, to be fair, you would have to, I think, Aronson's probably the best dribbler out of the bunch when it comes to midfielders, so I will put Aronson in that number 8 role within the 4-3-3. I think in playing out wide, I agree with you. The Chelsea game was maybe a little bit of an outlier, a little bit of an anomaly in terms of him playing well out wide on the right, but I think overall when we've seen him, when he's been put out wide, I think he struggles a little bit. So yeah, maybe Brendan Aronson in that number 8 role, probably our best dribbler. Yeah, let's have a look. So yeah, anyway, back onto some of the rumours chat, everyone. Leeds United obviously have continued talks with Cody Gakpo advisors, but let's just talk about Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Wolves are looking to add 6 players, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka is apparently on that list, as well as Matthias Cunha. But apparently Leeds are interested in Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well to bolster their options when Cody Drame moves on. So who knows on that one. Obviously, Ivan Fresneda is another one. But this is probably one of the most prevalent ones that I wanted to focus on, just because I think Leeds, I mean, I've no idea if this is true, everyone, but it is reported by the Mirror. Apparently, Leeds United have reportedly continued to speak to the advisors of PSV attacker Cody Gakpo. Just leave it. God's sake. Oh my God. I'm not saying that this is a thing. I'm really not. But if it is a thing, stop it. Cody Gakpo has pretty much come out. He's mentioned Leeds and Manchester United within the same quote. And he said that it didn't work out with Leeds. I'm paraphrasing now because I can't remember the exact quote. But essentially, it didn't work out with Leeds. Manchester United came in, and I like that a lot. You know, he's come out and had quotes about Manchester United and how that would be a good move for him, and they've been close. You know, there's several people. There's I think it was Percy at the Telegraph. It was Bert at the Telegraph, who've all came out and essentially said that Cody Gakpo wants the Man United move. Let's not do this again. And I want to sign off with this. Let's not do this again, Leeds United, where we chase someone for 30 days who doesn't want to come to Leeds United. You literally have example A in Charles de Ketelaere, who wanted the AC Milan move. He was talking about the AC Milan move. He was desperate for the AC Milan move. Let's not continue this farce of just following a player and hoping it breaks down and not having any other options. So the Mirror have reported that this morning, and it really perked my ears up, because on this video I feel that, you know, we've been talking about Jesse Marsch's tactical imprint, how maybe he's shown a bit of pragmatism after talking. We've now actually seen a little bit of action when it comes to what we saw against Real Sociedad, a very, very good La Liga team, a technically excellent La Liga team. That's great. But let's not go into this January window with buzzwords like, you know, certain players are performing really well. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the youth at the minute. Let's not go in and elongate these quotes. Let's not keep consistently speaking about these things. Let's go in and actually have an action plan, not let's go and speak to Cody Gakpo's agents and representatives for the next 20 days and see what's happening. We've all seen this before with Rodrigo de Paul, with Gvardiol, with Matthias Cunha, with Charles de Ketelaere, with Cody Gakpo. There is names that I can reel off my dome where we have seen this every single window, you know. So let's just make sure that we're going out there and getting players who are attainable. I just don't understand, especially like, you know, I don't want us to chase someone like Cody Gakpo, who is mentioning our arch rivals and wanting to go there several times, and apparently that is something that he wants. Like, can we just not chase that, please? There are other players there. He's an excellent footballer, but you know, we have to be realistic here. I don't understand why we try shop at Waitrose when we've got Lidl at our door. You know what I mean? And that's no disrespect. I shop at Lidl, but you know what I mean. There's no point in shopping in that market if we A, can't afford it, and B, we can't even, you know, show the players that this is the profile. You know, you want to play in the Champions League, you want to play in Europe, we'll come to Leeds. And we've got no evidence to back that up because we finished 9th one season in our first season up. We somehow got out of a relegation battle last season, and we're going towards the same thing again this season. But here's a PowerPoint profile on where we want to be in 4 years' time. Because if I'm a player, I'm looking at that and saying, well, hold on, isn't it supposed to be progression from last season to this season? It looks like you're going the same way. You've still got defensive problems. You're still not potent in attack. You're still not bringing in the players that you need to be able to effectively progress in this division. Why would I come to you? You know, so these are all the things that Leeds need to be taken into consideration for me. Anyway, guys, let's leave it there. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you hit a like on the video. I've been going for nearly 40 minutes now. Make sure you hit a like on the video. We'll be back with the rumour mill pretty much every single day, bar weekends. But I just wanted to discuss some of the bits around Jesse Marsch and the tactical imprint and some of the rumours that are going around Ellen Road at the minute. Make sure you slap a like. Guys, if you've got some bonus content, Generation Leeds is now out on the Patreon account. We went on for 40 minutes. That podcast is on the Patreon account. Links in the description below. And I'll see you in a bit, guys. Cheers.